What's up, everybody? This is Edward back with another video, another episode of Everybody Hates Black Men. I am your host, Edward Anderson. And today, what we're going to do is go over a video with Ebony K. Williams on the Kandi Burrus and Todd situation. Kandi Burrus is a reality show person, a musical artist. I believe she had a background as a singer, but she's been known recently as one of these people in the reality show sector in that kind of situation, and she's having a divorce. And this is something that a lot of people are talking about. A lot of the women are talking about. They're doing the standard 92 octane, shout out to BGS, thing about a man ain't on my level and this, that, and the third. And they're highlighting this because I believe he's looking for spousal support. um and it's just women griping about that. Now, one thing I want to keep in mind is I just want to say this and put this out here, and this has nothing to do with Ebony K, but you never hear black women complaining about when they get with white men and they end up paying spousal support. You never hear them really speaking on that. They always seem to, somehow forget those stories, but they always tend to remember it to bring it up with a black man. And so I wanted to comment on what she has to say. I've heard a couple of things here and there as what she said on this, but I haven't really seen this clip from start to finish. I've only heard a couple of seconds here or there, just enough to know this is something I wanted to cover. Because one of the things with Ebony K is that she was being interviewed by somebody maybe a couple of weeks ago, and she looked very tired. And this is something where I kind of had a lot of empathy for her and her situation, even though she created her situation completely. Also, from what I'm understood, the person she got a sperm donor from was black. At least that's what Google says, or ChatGPT. I Googled it and ChatGPT'd it. So I have no reason to think that's not true. If you all understand that that's not the case and it's somebody different, it's white, whatever, put that in the comment section. But I wanted to do this video because she's got a lot of energy in this video. And so she's real. It's one of those things where she knows at the end of the day that she's kind of the center of gravity and the one most responsible for her own situation, being that she has dated outside her race. So she can't just run to this, all the men are on my level stuff. And just keep in mind, she's worth about $2 to $3 million. So I mean, she has money, but she, for example, Kani Burrus has $30 million. Ebony K is like upper middle class. I don't even think Ebony K would even be considered like 1%. To make you have to make about $60,000 a month in order. So basically 720,000 a year in order to be considered 1%. I don't even know if she gets that amount of money, to be honest with you. So the thing is that, well, we're gonna have a conversation about it, but let's go with what she has to say. I don't want to make this too long. Let's go.
I am not calling Todd Tucker a bus driver at all. I believe that Todd was a working individual, that he brought many things to the table, and Kandi made sure we knew that.
I swear she has a voice of somebody that's like 25 to 30 years older than what she is, but maybe that's just my own preference.
But the discrepancy is undisputed. The financial discrepancy between herself and Todd remains severe.
She's talking about that, I guess, that Kandi Burrus is worth $30 million, and her ex-husband is worth 400,000, at least what I saw in Google. Which, by the way, 400,000 is a lot more than a lot of men in general, black men in particular. Every man ain't walking, so let's just make that clear. Although, how much that has to do with him being connected to her remains to be seen. But you've heard her that she does work. Here's my thing: when she uses the word severe and stuff like that, she makes it sound like it's an ailment. And this is that bougie stuff that gets on my nerves. Here's the thing. You making money this is a unique problem, because when men make money, Men are not looking for women's economics. The more money a man makes, the less they're never really looking for a woman's economics, but the less that becomes an issue when it comes to the household. A lot of these women are working part-time, and a lot of these women are not telling you about that. And there's a lot of jobs. I could go into that. I may do that in a different day. But the thing about it is, this is a unique problem for women because on the one hand, you want to be a boss bae. On the other hand, you want to be hypergamous. And what feminism failed to do is tell women you don't get to be both, because you're not going to be satisfied with half and half. You don't get to be both. That's in that fine print that they didn't tell you. See, white women understand this. See, what a lot of white women won't tell you is they make more money. A lot of them will make more money than the guys that they get with, especially out of college. And then usually the guy, this is what happened with Karazin, with the white dude she got with. And then what happens is the white men will pass them later on, even if they're both working full time. The issue with Ebony is the issue with Ebony is that she was never taught how to really deal with a man. It's very obvious she didn't get that from her mother. And unfortunately, it's very obvious her daughter is not going to get that, because Ebony doesn't know how to deal with men. She operates the same issues Tracy Ellis Ross. And when they can't run to, I'm not light enough, I'm not attractive enough. The fact that Ebony is where she is at about 40, 42, 43, she may be 41 or 43 years old, is really sad. What it said, and here's the real truth. SWP has actually done a really good job covering Ebony K. Williams. And one of the issues with Ebony is she doesn't know how to deal with a man. She really doesn't. And I would argue, I hate to call somebody a narcissist, but Ebony, she needs somebody. This is what she really wants. If she's really honest, what she wants is a man with incredible status and a lot of money, but she wants that man to cater to everything that she wants. She want the man that most women would submit to. She wants that man to submit to her. That's really what she wants. She wants a man on her program that has no reason to be on her program. And I wish I could find the other clips. I actually may do another video just to add to this in order to show you what I'm talking about. But Ebony has literally said words, and I quote, "If a man loves me enough, he will compromise for me." That is what she believes. She actually believes if a man loves her enough, that a man will submit to her. That is very stupid. And that is borderline antisocial when it comes to a relationship. What Ebony lacks is somebody telling her to her face, there is something wrong with you and you need a therapist. I'm not going to go as far. I don't want to go as far as say like she's a narcissist, but the reality is you are operating outside of your womanhood. You are in conflict. You really a man for real. You're like a mental transsexual. You want to be a man so bad when it comes to that aspect of it. And here's the trap. Ebony will never even a man. Let's say somebody gave her this man. Let's say God gave her this man. The height, the sexual attraction, all the currencies I talk about. Ebony probably wouldn't even want to have sex with him. Ebony's the type of person that if she got that kind of man, she would cheat on that kind of man. That vagina would be dry as hell. Let's call that really what it is. She wouldn't respect a man that basically did that, because instinctually she would believe if you're doing this, then there must be something wrong with you that I haven't detected yet. But I feel the certain way. And so when she gets on these podcasts and it's like she's trying to justify her own situation, like this Candy, first of all, you don't have nowhere near the kind of money as Candy Burrus. You have upper middle class money. You're not rich. You do not have so much money that you can't spend that money and blow that money. We just had a video of Odell Beckham talking about 100 million ain't a lot of money. So I can tell you right now, you can definitely blow 3 million. You can blow 3 million on a house. Let's just be real. Like, seriously. And the thing with Ebony is like 40 something years. Let me verify how old she is while I stop lying. Ebony K. Williams age. Ebony's 42 years old. The reality, like what she's assuming is Ebony's assuming that her best money making years are in front of her and not behind her. A lot of what she does, and I'm saying a lot, and this video is about to be long, so let her play. But it's the thing about her is she can't blame it on anything. She can't blame it on she's not light enough. She can't blame it on she's not attractive. She can't blame it on anything other than the fact that you're not compatible with a man. I'm gonna keep it real. Ebony needs a woman, but she's probably not gay. You're not like what you're doing. Any man that has value would not deal with that because I mean, this if I was gonna really be solution oriented, if I was really say, okay, come up with a solution and stop quote unquote complaining as they try to say, this is what I would say. You know what Ebony really needs? Ebony needs a dude that she's gonna accept that dude is gonna have a chick on the side, maybe two, and that they negotiate. Ebony's the type of chick that you need a dude that has high status, and you may be the prime wife, but you're not the only chick. So that way you can run around and do what you want to do, and you're doing this within a framework, and then you got like sub wives that they do like the other stuff, but you just doing what you're doing. That's that. Where so it don't matter that you're not around or you're not doing what you need to be doing. You're doing your own thing and you just happen to be there. That's what she needs. Now, obviously, there is no framework for that in the United States of America, and there's no cultural framework for that in the United States of America like that, like as far as mainstream culture. But Kevin Samuels would have said she needs to be an executive wife. But the problem is she don't really want to be a wife. Which she wants to be the man of the relationship, but she somehow wants a dude that's also like this. She wants like a Denzel Washington, but she's brighter than him. It's really crazy when you think about it. And I see a lot of this, even with like the thing about it is she would be Aisha Curry. This is Aisha Curry. Now, I'm not even gonna say Aisha Curry necessarily could be where Ebony K is on her own. Granted, I'll give her that credit. This is Aisha Curry. If Aisha Curry really would have got her money, she would have been. See, this is the complaint. This is the other side of that coin. I actually may put that in the thumbnail. This is actually the other side of that coin. And what it really comes down to is women that don't know how to compromise. They don't know how to compromise. They don't know how to be content.
You are a woman of means. You are a highly educated.
That's what I mean with the zestiness.
Woman, and you are a celebrity. Based on the fact that the
look at how he's just gassing her ass up. You are all this, all this, all this, all this. Ebony is a loser. Let me say that because anybody that hears that is not used to how I talk, y'all gonna get upset. Let me say this just so you understand. There are 4 qualities of life: health, money, time, freedom, and relationships. Her time is not her own. Her time belongs to that kid now. Her time belongs to all. She's got to keep having money come in because Ebony is not wealthy. What Ebony does is she brings money in vis-a-vis these pseudo celebrity things that she does, which got her to this point. But when that stops, her money's going to stop. Her lifestyle is going to stop. And she's assuming that that'll never stop. Okay? So her time freedom really is not her own. That's number one. Her health, she's in good health. We're not going to comment on that. We're not even, I mean, look, hey, we're going to comment on that. Money, she's okay. She's got money. Granted, she's right. I'd say she's in the two. She's probably in the 3% guaranteed, 2% definitely, right knocking at the door to maybe 1%. Give her that. So she's got 3 out of 4. Where is she a loser then? How could I say she's a loser? Her relationships. She's a loser. And relationships is not necessarily relationships with not necessarily relationships just romantically. But I can tell you right now, she's a loser. When it comes to the romantic side, she's a loser. And the reason why I'm gonna be more harsh on her is because of her of the access she has had, how attractive she is. Fantasia was able to clock out with somebody, and Fantasia has more money than Ebony K. Williams. Fantasia age. Fantasia is 41 years old. Fantasia net worth. I know this is gonna be probably a 30-minute video. Fantasia is worth more than Ebony K. Williams at more than $5 million. So clearly worth more, but they're in the same like category, to be fair. And Fantasia should have more money than that, by the way. But they're in the same category. I think Fantasia lost it and had to regain it. But Fantasia was able to get a dude. And I believe the dude she got is worth $300,000. He's a banker. She was able to clock out. She was able to clock out. The truth is, based on her wealth, I mean, you can find a dude. Her issue is not dudes that are not on her level. That's something she hides behind. You can find a high-powered attorney. She could have found an attorney or somebody like that at 32 years old that was making that kind of money. With her looks, an attorney, a doctor, all of that. That's not her problem. SWP has done a good job. I'll link his video, his channel in the description, but he's done a good job covering this. That's not her problem. Her problem is that she don't want to. She wants a man on her level. She not her level. She wants a man on her ship. That's her problem. She wants a man to be a wife. If I could say anything to Ebony to her face, you're not looking for a man. You're looking for a wife. That's really what you're looking for. You want to be the Madam President, and you want the man to be the first gentleman. But like maybe infrastructure wise, that's what you want. In the public face of it may not look like that, but it like he may look like on paper like the man at the status that every woman wants, but behind the scenes you want control and ratio. And I would argue that eventually you wanted to be known that you really running that. What she kind of wants is probably the closest thing I could get to what she probably wants. Ideally, is like a situation of like what Nick Cannon and Mariah Carey had, where Mariah Carey was clearly, Mariah Carey is a legend. Nick Cannon makes money, but Nick Cannon is not a legend. Nick Cannon is not a Pat Sajak. Like Ryan Seacrest, I think, is the descendant of that. And Nick Cannon is kind of in that category, but nobody's going to remember him like Ryan Seacrest. Clearly, she is the star, but Nick Cannon definitely does his own thing and has a high upward potential. That's what she wants. That would be like the perfect situation, except whatever magically the type of black man she's sexually attracted to. That dynamic is probably the dynamic she's looking for. Let's keep going.
The financial difference between Candy and Todd entering the relationship, asking for, possible child support alimony. Are these the reasons why you felt so strongly about not dating a bus driver?
Very much apart, not exclusively, but a very...
Yeah, because the other part is status. A bus driver doesn't have status. And that's the problem with a lot of blue-collar fields. Blue-collar fields don't have status. So even if it's not a money issue, it's a status issue. But you never hear women say that. Because when women say that, it's going to sound like, okay, at the end of the day, we're black. And at the end of the day, you have a duty as a black person to continue this on. And little things like status like that, all of y'all are not going to get that. And what's the point? Ain't that the point of you? The point of you being in the workforce, the point of you getting it how you want to get it is so you can chase that. But see, these are women out of their position. These are women, they want it all, and you're not going to get it all. This is why a lot of y'all end up where y'all end up. But yeah.
Real part of why I personally, this is me decision. Each woman, each man, each person gets to make this decision for themselves. But for me, this would not be a risk I would be willing to take.
But the problem is Ebony will get in panels with other women. See, you don't so I don't understand why men are considered bad. See, all this shaming language and sign language that men get because men don't want to even if you don't have it now, if you know you have earning potential and you know you can get it, what's the issue? See, when men say that, it's a problem. When Oprah has Stedman on hold like that, it's not an issue. But let a man do that, now we're manipulating women and all of that. That's the problem. The problem is you don't really believe that in the opposite, or you're not going to defend the men's right to protect themselves in the opposite. I have no problem with having a bread. We need reform in the marriage system. You don't want to get married because you want to be protected. You want your finances you worked hard for to be protected. So how is your finances more important than a man's finances that he worked hard for? This is the problem. That's the issue. Y'all want a situation where women don't have to give up. Y'all want to be women when it benefits you. Y'all want to be but y'all want everything a man can do without any of the liabilities. And that's where the BS comes in.
And that's based on a few things, right, Raindrops? It's based off my personal value system. I'm very old school. I'm very much of the traditional mindset.
That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. You're a liar. That is an absolute lie. That is a lie. That's not a misunderstanding. That's not a misrepresentation. You are bold-faced lying right now. You are not old school. Boss babes are not old school. Hillary Clinton was never considered old school. Like, no, you're not old school at all. What are you talking about? Like, what about you is old school? Give me 2 examples. You don't like, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean. She's old school when it comes to what a man is supposed to be. But she wants to be able to do whatever the hell she wants to do. Oh, you shouldn't have had a child if you were old school, because if you were old school is go get married. You think in vitro is old school? What are you talking anyway, man? She's just, man.
That I think men in this nation, we live in a patriarchy, and I believe
that's a lie too. No, we don't. No, we don't live in a patriarchy. We live in and I'm talking about general American society. What we live in is an oligarchy which is a select group of men that's generally the 0.01%, but we'll go with like people at least in the 1%, but really the 0.01% that basically operates a matriarchy, aka nanny state, that everybody else has to deal with. And then they have a racial hierarchy up in that crap, which is where we deal with the racial stuff. But and even race permeates everything, because even Robert Smith can get got if he acts like he's gonna upset the apple cart too much, which is why he got that accounting error that he got, and that's a whole nother story. No, we don't live in a patriarchy. You wouldn't be like, if we lived in a patriarchy the way you're talking about it, you wouldn't have been able to even make the kind of money that you're talking about. Like, what are you talking about? We live in a patriarchy. Like, again. And even if I say, okay, you're in the black community. What are you talking about? You're in the black community. Get out of here, man. Like, get out of here.
And men, despite challenges that they also go through, I think they are put in best position to climb the capitalism ladder of this nation based off of.
Like, again, this is B babble. I don't want to mess up the monetization of this video, but this is babble. So you're telling me today, and even in her era, she's only like 3 years older than me. You're telling me that the women, like, that's not even true for white men today. Like, when we start getting classes, you're telling me the middle class white men or the working class white men are put in better positions. You can go no further than look at the scholarship book. Even white women go to school more than, it's an alarming rate that white women go to school more than white men. They're actually worried about that now. They just did a thing talking about oh, y'all messed up. Now I know I can pause these recordings and jump back in. So y'all messed up. Oh, it's game over. Look at this. Look at this crap. They're talking about white men. This is like, obviously this is just, but this is out here. You can Google this. Washington, this is from the Washington Post. Trump attacks on the Washington Post, owned by Jeff Bezos, by the way. And yeah, it is a liberal publication. But Trump attacks on DEI may hurt college men, particularly white men. That's what's out here. And you can go find that article on Washington Post yourself
patriarchal
and
systems.
read that. But that's what we're dealing with. You know, even though Scott Galloway, I can't stand how he goes about it, but Scott Galloway would have something to think, something to say about that. See, they say that to justify what they do. Anyway, let me keep this video because this is going too long. But like, yeah, so she's babbling. She ain't never had to really substantiate that. And even in her era, because see, her argument would be, well, that's what it is in 2025. No, I'm 39. In her era, which she would have graduated high school in 2003, I think she might have graduated early because she was smart or something. I don't know. I think I heard that. But my point is, Ebony, yo, you can't find a black male version of your story outside of athletics, or they're super, super smart. If you don't get out of here, we're not even going to add the fact that she's a light-skinned female. So not only is she a woman, what, black woman, color, then she's attractive. So even the white boys, like, come on, if you don't shut up, if you really don't shut up with that crap.
So what do I look like?
And of course, this dude's gonna yes man all that BS.
Tethering myself legally for sure to a man that I'm out earning when the whole system is designed for you to out earn me. So
number one, you're a celebrity, so like you're making money. You're not making normal money. This is the same thing with these streamers. Like that you're not making normal person money. Your level would economically would be celebrities, NBA players, high-end doctors and stuff. But the problem with that is you can't close the deal on these people because at the end of the day, you want it to be about you. And why would they can get somebody that looks like you without having to deal with that? Why would they deal with that? Men are not looking for husbands. They're looking for wives. They're not looking, they're not looking again, and she hides behind all that. And this is what Iyanla Vanzant tried to tell her. Because at the end of the day, what Iyanla Vanzant really wanted to say is you're not mentally built to deal with a man. The type of men you want, you're just not it. Because you're not going to give them what they want. That's why she really mentioned that bus driver. Because what she was saying is you need a dude that's going to be on your program because you want to be the man in a relationship. And Iyanla Vanzant really should have had the gall to tell her that. The problem, Ebony, that is never going to get around is you want to be a man in a relationship, and any dude that's got anything when it comes to economic, he just doesn't have to deal. Nobody's going to deal with that unless they have to. It's going to take a special type of dude, and they're not going to make the kind of money you're making. You are not going to find dudes making the kind of money you're making that you are sexually attracted to that is going to tolerate that out of you. That's your problem. That's your problem. I'm sorry. And if they do, they're going to cheat on you. It's going to be like some Eric Benet stuff. They're not going to, I mean, Holly Berry couldn't find that, and she's Holly Berry. Let's stop that. And so again, she acts like she's saying something new. I didn't want to tether myself. Okay, well, a lot of men don't want to tether themselves, but men are considered irresponsible for having children, even if it's one or two outside of marriage, because we're shamed into it. Even though what she's essentially talking about is MGTOW. I want you to understand what she did. She did a MGTOW move. These women talk about decentering men. Okay, when men talk about decentering women because of an actual legal framework we're exposed to, men are called weird, gay, all this stuff, sort of stuff. Yet she's able to do this, and women will see it as empowerment. You should have seen the comments with this BS. You should have seen the comments that they were. Oh, I 100% agree. Of course, you emotionally agree because it benefits you.
Oh, I got a problem with that, and I have no problem saying that. Put it on a T-shirt. That's fine, totally fine.
It sounds good until you got to debate another dude that's gonna throw what I just said at you. Then you sound stupid
with it. But in addition to that, because I have practiced family law, I know what it's like to see Sherry, and I also have relationships with women.
Again, she keeps bringing all these women up. This is a consequence of feminism. The reality of the situation is when you make more money, you're not owed a man. Like, I don't know who told you all. That's what I would really want to ask Ebony too. Who told you all that if you make $1 million, do you believe that if you become a billionaire, like, do you think Mackenzie Bezos is supposed to find a $30 billion or $20 billion person? Of course, that's right. Okay. You're educated. You know the mathematics of how many dudes make this kind of money, even if we take out looks. What are you talking about? The point of you making this money is supposed to be for you to get a dude that at that point is more about, are you sexually attracted to that dude? Well, I don't want to expose myself to child. Didn't do what Fantasia did and get him to sign a prenup. Well, I don't expose myself to to custody. Yeah, like they really gonna take a kid away from her and give it to the dude and charge you child support on some Kevin Federline stuff. That happened for a specific reason because of Britney Spears' mental state. They're not in doing that. Even with your work stuff. Keep in mind, she got a nanny taking care of this kid. I wanted to do this video because these are things I've told dudes that they should consider, and they will say dudes are weird for talking about this. If you're in the financial position, I said, why would you pay a woman ridiculous amount of money in child support? I'm talking about like some of these celebrity dudes. They got mad money. Because the reality is you might as well just pay a nanny 40, 50,000 a year. One thing that they were saying about Diddy had a whole bunch of, personal assistants and all of that. You might as well do that. If you're an NBA player, you might as well pay a nanny. And she can do that in conjunction with your own mama. Like, seriously. You do better doing that. You do better, real talk, breaking your mama off and then giving her a personal assistant. So when she needs to break away from that, she can. You do better, because let's keep it real. We talking about you needing to do that in the initial like 4 or 5 years. This is what Ebony is doing. And they will actually sell this as empowerment.
Who have paid child support for their own children. I have relationships with women who have paid spousal support to.
Again, I don't understand why that's a big deal, though. Why is that a big deal? Oh, because we live in a patriarchy. No, we don't. No, it's a patriarchy in name. You know what a patriarchy is? Saudi Arabia. They just be saying stuff, and dudes be just going along with it.
Men for years, to multiple men, some of these women, and they're not all famous. Some of them,
she's talking about Holly Berry.
Them are accountants, some of them are CEOs, some of them are work in health.
The problem is she keeps saying this like this is an issue. You are the man in the relationship. You are the breadwinner. That is what comes with that. Why are you saying this like what did you think was gonna happen? So, like, I really want her to say, did you really think that you were gonna make $1 million, $500,000, and no matter how much money you make, there will always be dudes that you were sexually attracted to that was at least 5'10" to 6 foot? Is that what you actually thought? And if you thought that, I want to know who told you that. Because even with feminism, they don't really tell you that. They just it's absence and silence. They're not telling you this. Now, dudes were told if they go get an education and act right, that it'd be women like Ebony waiting for them. Dudes were told that. If you don't sell dope and you do this and you do that.
Care positions, and that's again not a risk I am personally willing to take. So I want to be clear before.
And notice how she tries to brand it as a business decision. But if men make the business decision, it's a whole bunch of sign language involved. That's the issue I have with this. I don't have an issue with her saying this. But what I have the issue, other than what I've talked about, but my thing is, it's the hypocrisy. That's the issue. That's the issue. Because at the end of the day, even in her situation, the women, they are not fleecing these women like they're fleecing men. They're not. Like, ain't no woman paying no unlimited alimony, like what's been going on.
Anybody thinks anything funny style, I am not calling Todd Tucker a bus driver at all. I believe that Todd was a working individual, that he brought many things to the table, and Candy.
I want you to really understand, according to Google, Todd is worth $400,000. And again, a lot of bus drivers in a lot of cities do make decent money. This is like the level of, she don't even understand the level of bouginess this coming. Like, at the end of the day, like, Ebony, no matter how much of a celebrity you are, no matter what, like how much, like, and you ain't like a celebrity, like you like one of these reality TV type joints. Like, it's streamers that like dwarf that in money. The reality is, from a class standpoint, anybody that's getting involved, like straight up, anybody that's getting involved with you and getting involved with your daughter, they're gonna be like, yo, we talk about 3 generations of single mother. We talk about damn near two generations of single mothers. I'd be a fool to think your daughter can actually, I would think, I would be a fool to believe that you have taught your daughter how to be a wife, even a partner. Ebony's problem is Ebony can't even be a partner, because Ebony doesn't want to compromise on anything. I'm telling you, man. She said in a video, and I may cover it, and that other, like, if a man loves me enough, he will compromise for me. That means you want it all to be about you. That it's not gonna work that way. You, like, Jesus, you ain't no Vanessa Williams. Like, you are not like some once in a generation, like, yo.
We made sure we knew that. But the discrepancy is undisputed. The financial discrepancy between herself and Todd remains.
She could have got a prenup with him. She could have got a prenup with him and didn't get with him. So it's not that's not the issue. She had money before she got with him. So, I mean, a prenup would have solved that problem. But she's acting like this is like a social issue. That's the problem I have with this.
Severe. And when there is a severe discrepancy from the man, the woman, whoever it is, this risk of money grab accusations is going to always be at play.
So the issue is you need marriage reform. That's what you need. But they don't want to talk about that because women benefit from this system more than the men do. So these are considered sacrifices. You want marriage. That's what she should be talking about. That's what we can agree on. That there needs to be something to protect breadwinners and not this community property bullshit. That's what she should be talking about. But instead, what she's doing is she's trying to justify why she did what she did. That's all she's trying to do. So anyway, man, anyway, I've talked about this long enough. You know, we took a 2.5-minute video and turned it into 40 minutes somehow. Only I would do that. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts about this. Let me know, have y'all seen the clip that I'm talking about where Ebony talked about if a man loves her enough, a man will compromise for her? Do you want me to do that video and go through like a series of like Ebony K. Williams talks and clips and really break some of that stuff down? You know, I don't have a personal issue with Ebony. I actually like that she tried to be candid about a lot of stuff in the get-go. But the problem with Ebony, like I've said over and over and over again, is Ebony wants a situation that doesn't exist. What I would ask her is, give me a relationship that you think is an ideal relationship. I don't know. She I think she wants like a Jada Pinkett and Will Smith thing, except Jada Pinkett is like more popular than Will Smith. She wants everything. And that is not how adults are supposed to have it. And you see it, and she's not trying to like be honest about that. She's really not. Any man worth his salt would never tolerate the stuff that she's talking about. Because it's like, yo, you can pay for somebody else as attractive as she is. It's like, yo, and you're in your I want you to understand, she's in her 40s talking like this. Ebony will be 60 years old talking like this. I forget the woman from a Players Club, but she sounds a lot like that, except not quite as hood. She's another light skinned chick, and it's like, yo. But anyway, let me know what your thoughts are about this. And again, I'm gonna be popping out some more uploads. I'm gonna be a lot better than that. I've been kind of, APB on that. But again, as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Click on the links in the description. And I actually have in there also the link to SWP's like matriarchy book. I mean, it's 1,200 pages. I haven't gone through it, but I will eventually go through it. And so click on the links, some of it. If you want to get to my Discord, make sure you email me at EdwardAnswer300K. That email will be in the Discord, and then I will get you in there. Be looking out for our our master Discord as well. And with that being said, this is Edward signing off. Peace.